Hi, I'm Rachel Gottlieb. I'm the Ruth Rippon Curator of Ceramics at the Crocker Art Museum. We're in the Cowell Gallery, Room 2. And in this room, all the works that are on display either focus on being inspired by nature or look at the issue of political clay or confrontational clay. And this is all part of our gallery refresh that we did over the last year and a half to tell the story of ceramics in the 20th and the 21st century, and also to highlight new acquisitions. What I'd like to talk about today is specifically the concept of confrontational clay. Clay has always had a political message for centuries. Whether you used it to identify your religion, your political allegiance, that was how clay was used traditionally certainly from the Renaissance period on. But in the 20th century, clay was less so used as a political tool. However, in the 1960s, with the advent of the pop movement and funk movement with ceramic artists such as Robert Arneson and Judy Chicago, there was a new direction to utilize clay to talk about racial and gender inequalities. So today I'll be talking about two works: Viola Fry's piece here, Man Standing on Woman's Thigh, and Sharif Bey's Uplifted Faces. So first let's look at Viola Fry's outstanding sculpture. And what's so great about it is it's a really complicated message. Now, initially, because of the coloration, it's so bright and polychromed. You might think of Dubufay's colors, and she was an artist that was influenced by Dubufay. You might think that this is a joyous scene, but it's not. It's really quite confounding. You see a businessman, we know he's a businessman because he's the only one wearing a suit, and he is pressing his hands on the shoulder of a nude man, and the nude figure is standing on the reclining female nude. But what's very odd is that the female nude is in fact much larger than the male nude. Now, and the male nude is further diminished by the weight of the amphora that he's carrying on his shoulders. Now, what is Viola Fry talking about here? I think the message is ambiguous, and she liked it to be ambiguous. She could be talking about the powerful, universal, master of the universe businessman, and he's the nude that he's handling is like he's the puppet master, and yet the nude himself, because he's standing on the woman, the reclining woman, he's standing on her thigh, there's an element of violence, so he's also oppressing the woman herself. Viola Fry is a very important ceramic artist based in Northern California, in particular Oakland. And she's known for her monumental figures. So this is a smaller sculpture. Viola Fry was always very focused in her work on the tensions and political dynamics within the art market and between men and women. The second piece I wanted to look at is Sharif Bey's Uplifted Faces. This is one of our more recent acquisitions. Sharif Bey is based in Syracuse, but he grew up in Pittsburgh. So in this interesting form, it is a vessel form, but it's also sculptural. He's referencing the power figures, the Nikisi figures of Central Africa. And what is distinctive about these figures, and what you'll see here, is that the vessel is made of clay, stoneware, but he's inserted it with rusticated nails and shards of ceramics. So traditionally, the African power figures were made out of wood. So here, Sharif Bey is really synthesizing two traditions. One is his African ancestry, and secondly, his identity as a Black American artist. And he came from a generation of laborers. His father was a boilermaker, his grandfather was a boilermaker. So he's really sort of masterfully synthesizing these two traditions. Well, in a traditional power figure, these were talismans, and the reason why nails were inserted into the wooden vessels is to release the magic and release the ointments that would heal you. But for Sharif Bey, these nails represent the labor of his father and his grandfather and his forefather. And interesting, he's also, as I mentioned, he's inserted shards of clay. These shards came from the Syracuse ceramic factory. So it's really also, he's paying tribute to the blue-collar labor and industry and how it's disappearing, because the Syracuse ceramics factory no longer is in existence. It's a very poignant piece. You can really see the suffering on the faces, and we're really happy to have it in our collection. So these are very different works, but yet they really talk about important issues that still face us today. I think that Sharif Bey is really creating a wonderful piece that speaks both to his African history, to the disappearing labor, and to the suffering of the Black American today. And Viola Fry's piece, well, earlier, it speaks to the politics and to the inequities of gender. So please do come and visit us, and in this gallery you'll see works by Judy Chicago and Robert Arneson, as I previously mentioned. And another theme that we explore here is artists that look to nature and how it's inspired their work. So whether you see the striations of the earth within the pot, whether you see landscapes depicted and painted on the vessel form, or whether you see a work of art that really talks about California and its fires, there's so much to see.